I know.
Yeah, I screwed up. When I set out to record this video, this is not the story I thought I was gonna be telling. It was gonna be just a casual, easy, fun off-roading trip where I'd get to look at some new recovery gear from a sponsor. We ended up doing a recovery, but it's not the one I expected. But let's start this off by flashing back to happier times when we set out on this trip with 3 perfectly functional vehicles. It's the weekend, out with the boys. We're gonna go do a little bit of exploring and off-roading, and you're coming with. We're out at Rower Flats in Santa Clarita. Nolan has brought Donut's high truck, and Justin has brought his built-out Tundra. Yo, my truck is feeling really stock next to these two. I've been to Rower Flats before, but the route Justin was taking us on was more technical than anything I had seen here before. Despite that, the 4Runner was keeping up pretty well. Eventually though, we came across this Jeep stuck halfway up an obstacle. Justin took his Tundra to the top of the obstacle to give the guy a solid point to use his winch. It looks like this Jeep just needed a little help, and once he got moving, he was absolutely fine. I don't have a lot of footage of this next part, so I'll have to fill in some of the details. Long story short is we kept on going on the trail. We got to an obstacle that wasn't particularly difficult. Justin struggled a little bit, but managed his way through. My 4Runner, being the least capable, I should have probably tried a different route. But everything so far had been pretty doable, so I went up the same route that Justin had. And this is kind of where everything goes wrong. And when I got a little bit stuck, my first thought wasn't, how do I get out of this situation safely? My first thought was, I don't want to have to reverse down this obstacle, because with the elevation and the level of wind, that felt really sketchy. I wasn't thinking about just how sketchy the worst case scenario could be. I tried to cut across to an easier part of the obstacle. Going diagonal or going sideways on an incline is something you never do off-roading, but I felt like I could get away with it in the moment, and I couldn't. Again, there are so many ways that this could have been avoided. There are so many things that we ignored up until this point. And I'm not even gonna throw anyone else under the bus. There's so many things that I ignored. And that's how we ended up with this result.
You're gonna want that video.
Yeah, give me 12 million views and we can pay for a new truck. Justin quickly went into dad mode, and he was on the phone to every off-road recovery company he could find. It was going to take the closest one about 6 hours to get to us.
I almost saw my buddy die.
Yeah, please leave me alone.
No one's like, hey, you want a picture? Or...
Let's party. Yeah, hey, let's get a selfie real quick.
Yeah. Once the adrenaline had worn off, we really started to think about the situation that we were in and what we had in terms of recovery gear that could get the 4Runner back on its wheels. We've got one truck down. I want you to feel confident about whatever we're going to attempt.
Just walk out.
I don't really have much of a choice.
Okay, so here's the plan. There is another trail right over there on the other side of this berm. Nolan's gonna take high truck over there, which has the winch, and we can pull across this way, get it over onto its wheels. To stabilize it, we're gonna have Justin's Tundra up there with a rope so that once it gets on its wheels, it doesn't roll back down. And there's nobody behind us. If this doesn't work, we're in no worse of a situation than we're in currently. The truck can't roll away because it'll be anchored by 2 points. Then there's the next step, whatever that is.
1 second. Okay. Come on, Nolan. Good, good.
Pulling. Let's go. Keep. Let's go. Woo! Give it a whirl.
Nothing. Not even a click. The intake disconnected, so that'll be part of it.
Got tools? Somewhere.
Yeah, they're all up there.
What's the oil level up there?
Well, there's no fluid dripping. There's barely any fluid up there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just making sure.
This was supposed to be a light day.
I would later find out that the Prindle connection had broken, which is why the truck wouldn't start because it thought it was in drive. But on the trail, all we could do was tow it down. Okay. I'm still pumping with adrenaline. The engine's not starting. We're, deep into this trail. We're going to head back down. And when we're going downhill, Justin will be behind me with the rope hooked up so that he can help my descent. And when we're going uphill, he's going to be in front of me and he's going to be pulling me up and I'm just going to steer. I haven't quite processed yet what all of this means for the 4Runner. I haven't quite come to terms. I'm just surviving at the moment. Like, honestly, shooting video and knowing the steps of, I gotta make, gotta have a wide angle, gotta have this shot, gotta have that, is part of what is keeping me motivated and going forward right now. Because otherwise I'd be thinking about this too much and, yeah. All right, well, we're gonna get down out of here. I don't know how much more I'm gonna film today, but I'll give you an update eventually. During the long trip down, I couldn't manage to keep my mind off of the 4Runner. What it had meant to me as a vehicle, what it had gotten me through, what I got out of it, and what I had done to it at this point. This is the vehicle that I bought during the pandemic in an effort to get me out of the house and figure out a way to enjoy being a car guy in a new way. It got me out into the wilderness. It gave me an appreciation for nature. It got me it got me some sanity at a time when the world was so lacking that. And then after that, it went above and beyond by being the tow vehicle for the Yaris, by being one of my bigger projects. It's the first time I'd done off-road suspension. It's the first vehicle that I've ever had with an engine swap. It's the first vehicle that I've ever owned that was that old. It's as old as I am. It's an 89, just like me. And there were just little things about it that made it special because of stuff like that. And here he is. I was luckily able to tow him to work. I was gonna tow it up to my workshop up in the mountains, but it is very snowy up there right now, and I only have one covered spot. Not that it's covered here, but you know, like other people have their project vehicles back here, so it can live here for a little bit. Maybe I'll swap this out with the Yaris and do the back and forth, but at some point we'll figure all that out. Yeah. Now what? A body swap is not that complicated, especially with an old vehicle like this. But at the same time, I have poured so much money into this 4Runner. The original 3-liter V6 absolutely died on me in the middle of a road trip. The original automatic transmission, absolutely dead. And while I can look at what is left of it and know that this is a salvageable project, I look at where that money could go in terms of the Yaris. I look at where that money could go in terms of just my life. And I look at what I would end up with when I finished putting that money into the 4Runner. And I have to ask myself if that's something that I actually want. And the sad answer is, it's not. I love that 4Runner, I really, really do. It's such a cool vehicle, but at the same time, I need something that can reliably tow the Yaris to track. That is not an 89 4Runner with an engine swap. So I gotta sell it. I managed to find someone on a 3-4 swap forum who would rather do a body swap than an engine swap. Becoming your truck or his truck?
No, it's his.
It's gonna be his?
Yeah, he's been wanting to do an engine swap on his truck for like the longest. Whoa.
You're gonna give him a good home.
Yeah.
It hurts to see the 4Runner go. It really does. But I know that if I had kept it, it would have sat beaten and bruised for a very long time before I really was able to focus on it. And sitting probably uncovered up in the woods is not a good idea. The problems would have only gotten worse. It wasn't serving a purpose. I was already looking at potentially replacing it. And now this rollover has kind of just forced my hand. So now, anyway, I guess I'm in the market for a tow vehicle for the Yaris. Leave some comments down below on what you think I should get instead. Or, you know, if you want to just put RIP Dipper, that was his name, you can do that too. For a lot of you, I know you come to this channel for Yaris content, and the 4Runner was just some other thing that I happen to make videos on. Thank you for sticking around through this journey, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Hardy also misses the 4Runner.